Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson. Tonight's show, I have a lot to talk about, but before I get to that, I want to take a moment and just speak about some of the things that are going on in this world. First off, to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Twins, and the Minnesota Wild. I appreciate what you did by postponing your games tonight for the safety of the fans. And I hope that what happened in 2020 does not spark up again in 2021. Secondly, even though I am not to blame, I feel it is my due diligence to apologize to Second Lieutenant Karan Nazario for what happened to you in Virginia. You, sir, are a soldier serving this great country. What was said to you and what was done to you needs to be addressed, needs to be talked about, and we have seen the beginning stages of rectifying that situation. There's more that I'm going to talk about that later, but I've got a jam-packed show, so let me get right to it. My first guest this evening, as the draft is coming up, I feel like I haven't talked enough about my Philadelphia Eagles. So I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman during Super Bowl Media Week at the press conference with Roger Goodell and DeMaurice Smith, and he's kind enough to join me here tonight. He is, in fact, a beat writer for the Philadelphia Phillies and my beloved Philadelphia Eagles. He is the host of the Athletic Press. Please help me welcome Mr. Rob Maaddi to the show. Rob, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Sports Arena.
Hey, what's up, my man? How you doing, Eric?
I wish it was under better circumstances, my friend, but you know what? I'm here, and like you, I got a job to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and get it done.
I hear you, man. There's a lot going on in the world, and I wish we can reach a point at some time. I don't know if it's going to be in my lifetime, my kids' lifetime, their kids' lifetime, where we all can just love each other, just love on one another. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. So, man, I appreciate you jumping on here with me tonight because, you know, I got some friends who are, unfortunately, I claim them as Dallas Cowboy fans. I do. But listen, we've got the draft coming up in basically 2.5 weeks, and I just got a couple questions. And as someone who is in there and who writes for them, you got to give me the scoop. So my first question to you, sir, is very simply, what in God's green earth is going on with Zach Ertz, and why have we not re-signed him? I understand that he has been given the opportunity to seek quote unquote greener pastures, which, Zach, if you're watching and listening, there isn't none. Stay in Philly. But that being said, what's going on there? Why have we not kept this viable weapon a part of our team?
Well, that's a great question, man. And Zach Ertz and the Eagles his agents worked on a contract negotiation, not this past season, but the year prior. And the Eagles made an offer that wasn't what the agents thought was good enough. The guaranteed money in there, because it's always about guarantees, Eric. It's not about the length of the kid. Now they're adding voidable years after void. So you can give somebody like a 10-year, $900 million contract, and 8 of them are voidable years, right? So none of that matters. But the guarantees were not acceptable for them. And after that, things started to kind of, they stopped negotiating. There's been reports of a blow up between Zach and general manager Howie Roseman early last year. Neither guy really tried to, they didn't deny it. They just said that, we've moved on. We're not talking about it. And then it became quite apparent that the Eagles and Zach Ertz are going to part ways. At Zach's end of the season news conference, the day after the season ended, I believe I asked him the last question in a Zoom call, and he teared up, man. He teared up because he knew that this is it. He's not coming back. And it's just it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. And I thought perhaps it could have happened early in free agency. There's been some bitterness that I know of from the Ertz side because the Eagles haven't acted on this quickly enough, because they haven't given him more of an opportunity to catch on with a team, like just outright release him and let him sign with somebody. Instead, they're trying to get some compensation for him, which is understandable. He's a great player, right? But they're not getting the offer that they want. So the way it was relayed to me is this has become more of sort of a grudge rather than a business decision. Great. And rather than just allow Zach to find a new home, they're going to hold on. I think something will happen right in and around the draft. Maybe they package Zach with, I don't know, a 7th round pick to move up to the 6th. Like something silly where we look at it and go, that's all you got for Zach Ertz?
I said at the end of last season, and let me tell you, it was a hard pill for me to swallow, to have to apologize to Giants fans and Washington football team fans, because we just basically, that last game was like, okay, well, you know what? We're not going to allow the Giants to get a better draft pick. We're going to move up 3 spots and be that what it may. But then turn around, we've gone back down to 12. So now I want to look at things and say, well, why didn't we just, win the damn game and maybe have at least a wild card chance in snowball's hell? But anyhow, when we look at the draft, in your opinion, okay, because I personally think you're a better general manager than Howie Roseman. I don't care if you have experience or don't. What should the Eagles do with the 12th pick in the first round?
You're going to hate this, Eric, but I look at a team like this, as bad as they are, as many flaws that they have. I don't know that a player at 12 is a guarantee for them, given their track record and their draft history. I had no issue with them trading down from 6 to 12 and accumulating draft capital, putting them in a position with an extra first-round pick next year, now potentially 3, to do something big, a big blockbuster move if they feel like they need to go in that direction. But I could see them trading down again from 12 into the teens, because this team values, when they've drafted in the top half of the draft, right, top 16 picks, since 1988, that was the last time they took a player. That was Keith Jackson in 88, I believe 11 or 13. I forget which number, but it was top half of the draft. Every time they've been anywhere from 1 to 16, it's been quarterback, O-line, or D-line. 13 times. The two guys who were quarterbacks were McNabb and Wentz. Everyone else was either an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. That includes Fletcher Cox at 12. That's what they value. They don't value a pass catcher. They don't value a playmaker. So I could see them trading into the teens and taking an O lineman or defensive lineman, staying put and taking somebody that plays in the trenches, or maybe, and I like a cornerback. I think this team needs a cornerback. If Patrick Surtain is there, if he falls to 12, I jump on him. J.C. Horn's another possibility. I look at that too as well. But I don't. There's a possibility they could move up. I don't think so, though. When you trade from 6 to 12, I don't see them moving into the top 10 anymore.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But that's why I'm like, listen, you had 6. Now we're going down to 12, and now you're telling me we're going to drop down even further? Oh,
maybe.
Lord have mercy.
Howie likes the wheel and deal. You know that. It's the one thing he does extremely well, though, is accumulate draft picks. Now he's got to execute them. That's been the problem.
Okay, fair enough. So, all right. So then that leads me into my next question. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you are truly blessed to be talking right now and listening to Mr. Rob Maaddi, beat writer for the Eagles and the Philadelphia Phillies. He is the host of the Athletic Press Pro Football Podcast. This man has written a book. He's an
Associated
author.
Press, man.
Associated Press. Excuse me.
It's all good. It's been a tough night for all of us, man.
He's an author. Birds of Prey. Definitely, you need to check that out. But let me ask you this. All right. So, what should priority number 1 be to this team? Should it be our offensive line, protecting a young guy in Jalen Hurts? Do we get Jalen Hurts more weapons? Because I don't think we have a wide receiver over 6'2". Or do we finally build up that defense and bring it back to the days of a Hugh Douglas, a Jeremiah Trotter, a Brian Dawkins? I mean, we have some of those pieces, but we need more. In your opinion, what should be our number 1 priority?
I would prioritize the defense. I think the offensive line, if they get these guys back healthy, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Andre Dillard, And we also saw some of the youngsters last year, Jordan Mailata and Jack Driscoll, play well. I think you got some depth, and I think you can get an offensive lineman somewhere else in the draft. I want to see this team prioritize defense and try and win football games. And nobody does this anymore, man. Run the football, make it easier for Jalen Hurts, make it easier for that offensive line, and have a monster type of defense. So if at 12, somehow, and I don't anticipate him dropping to 12, but if Micah Parsons is there at 12, to me, that guy is a playmaker. He's a monster. He's a beast. He's somebody they've never really valued that linebacker position. It's entirely completely against their philosophy. But I would jump on a guy like Micah Parsons. And if they don't, and if he's already gone in the top 10, which is probably a likely scenario, he could even go to 7 to Detroit, I've heard. I'd go with that. I'd look at that cornerback. And I'd see if you can get a cornerback in there, because that's especially in the NFC East, you got a lot of tough wide receivers. That should be a position, not just of need, but a high priority.
All right. Last question, and then I'm going to let you get out of here. And I appreciate your time. Rob, you see that the NFL has added a 17th game. So now instead of having 4 preseason and 16 regular season, we've got 3 preseason, 17 regular season. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, from a selfish standpoint, as a guy who loves football and covers football for a living, it's more football that matters, right? I'd rather cover a meaningful football game than a preseason game. I always hated the preseason games. I always say, can we send our backup writers, because they're playing backup players out there, right? You got the 3rd and 4th string guys out there. Let's send like my backup. But so from a selfish standpoint, I love it. It's more football. It pushes the season further back. That's kind of something that's going to be difficult, because I usually can't wait for the Tuesday after the Super Bowl ends, because it's like my first day off in about 7 months. So now that's going to be closer to Valentine's Day. We're going to have that conflict. That's going to happen a lot. Valentine's Day is going to be Super Bowl Sunday, or it's going to be the 15th, and you're going to be away. And if you got a wife or whatever, significant other, you're going to have some issues with that. You got to figure it out. But
unless she's a football fan, then you're all good.
Not mine. Well,
I'm thankful mine is, so I'm good on that one.
But no, it's more football. I love it.
Awesome. Hey, so I've got some friends here in the back who want to ask you a couple questions. Sure. Let me get one of them in really quick here. Now, I will tell you, he is a Cowboys fan, so I apologize in advance.
Hey, it's all good.
But this is my boy, Believe in the Pac-12, Mr. Michael Caratanudo. Mike, what's up, man? How are you?
Eric, thank you. Rob, I mean, come on. He always intros me like that, like people are supposed to throw vegetables and batteries and boo me like Santa Claus or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, no, stop.
Look. Hey, I'm originally from Jersey, so anytime I can tease about booing Santa Claus is a good thing.
What part of Jersey? South Jersey, Central?
North Central, North Plainfield.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
So, but I grew up a Cowboys fan. But anyway, that being said, when you look at the division, though, overall, because, I mean, I tease Eric, but we both know, like, both our teams defensively need to get better. But with where Washington is at, are they the wild card, literally the wild card team to you in the division that could literally go from, they won the division last year by default. But this year, I mean, if they get decent quarterback play with that defense, could they, which would disgust me beyond no end, but could they run away with the division?
I don't see anybody in this division running away with it. Like, I think it could come down to the one thing I do believe will be different this year is you'll actually have a winning team win the NFC East, but by winning margin 9-7, 10-6 at most, because I think the Cowboys, Washington, and the Giants are all in that mix. They're all jumbled together, and the division could go either way. And one of them will be at 9 or 10. The other is between 7, 8, 9. The Eagles, to me, are the bottom dwellers. They'll be between 4 and 7. Washington, like you said, they got a tremendous defense. I love the coaching staff. I really like Ron Rivera. Bringing in Fitzmagic is a big move for them because I think he's steady, he's consistent, he can move the ball. I wouldn't rule out them taking potentially a quarterback in the first round, somebody that they can groom. I like the Giants and your boys. I love their offense with that coming back healthy. If Jerry would just prioritize the defense, if he would sit there, just sit still at 10, Jerry, right? You don't have to move up and take Kyle Pitts. Like there's been, and I know he loves Kyle Pitts. Like I was told directly, he loves him a lot. Just sit still, take the best defensive player on the board at 10, and they could be right there in the mix for the division.
And lastly, to poke at Eric, do you think Zach Ertz will look good in the Cowboys uniform?
I think,
all right, that's it.
He would look fantastic. He's going to look good in blue.
No,
Whether
he
it's
will not.
Cowboy blue, Seahawk blue,
No.
Colts blue.
No. Colts blue, I can accept. All right.
Yeah.
Let me get my man really quick because he's doing double duty. He's actually at the Amway Center covering the Magic and the Spurs. Alex, my boy Alex Fleming, he's definitely got a question for you. Let me get him in here real quick for you. Go ahead,
What's
sir.
up, my man? How are you, bud?
Hey, I think you're looking at my chart because on my draft list, I got Micah Parsons going to Philadelphia. They need to fix that defense. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I don't have an NFL job for some odd reason, but I just know the game of football. Bro, real talk. After Micah Parsons, they need to fix the offensive line. Philadelphia, they can't run the football. They got midgets at wide receivers. Their corners couldn't cover you or me.
Yeah, and I run a 9.440, so that's not a good thing. I think they
9.4. Did you fall down?
Bro, I'm slow, man. I got ACL, MCL, everything. I'm just slow. I'm with you on Micah Parsons. If he's there, it's against everything that this organization really believes in. But dude's a beast. He's a monster. He's a playmaker. They do
down the
have
street, Penn State.
Yep, they got to address the offensive line, but I think they look at the veterans coming back healthy, and the young guys that they had last year are developable, right? And you got Driscoll, you got Mailata, and you got Andre Dillard. I don't know how they're going to fit Dillard and Mailata in there, but that's three guys who could be starters within next year or the year after. So it's not as much of a priority to me, but it really is to them. They love working on that O-line and the D-line.
How is Howie Roseman not fired yet? I mean, because some of his
that's a whole other conversation for another time. You were handling the Magic. I'll catch up with you in a minute, sir. I appreciate it. Rob, thank you so much for joining me, Han. I definitely want to connect with you after the draft and get your thoughts on what happened. Again, this is, and I'm just going to keep it simple. This man is the AP NFL writer for the Eagles. He's the Phillies beat writer. He is the host of the AP Pro Football Podcast. He has his own show, Faith on the Field, which he is the host of, 97.5 The Fanatic, author of Birds of Prey, P-A-P-R-A-Y, and a professional speaker. Rob Maaddi, thank you so much for being on the Sports Arena. Look forward to talking to you, brother.
My pleasure, my man. Thank you. Anytime, brother.
Thank you. Woo! All right, lot to dive into, but as always, I got to pay a couple bills. I'll be back in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. SmarterBase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our SmarterBase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about SmarterBase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
Between ourselves and the rest of the field, but here comes Jimmy Stone.
Welcome back to the Sports Arena. Man, Eric Wilson. All right, let me get the entire gang in here because we do have some things that we definitely need to discuss. So as you saw already, Mr. Michael Carrottenuto is here with us. Alex Fleming, who is, whoa, that's a lot of music for him. So we'll get him here in a minute. But of course, we've got Journey with the Jays. My man, Mr. John Shearer, in the building with us. Thank you, sir. How are you? Good evening.
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. I've got John Cena here from WrestleMania. Alex Fleming still trying to get in here. He's got so much going on. He's covering the Magic Spurs game, so I know he's going to be in and out of the conversation. And last but most definitely not least, we got our girl from the NBA Carousel and the Sip-Off, Miss Megan Price, fresh off her show. Good evening, one and all, to everybody. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody? Shut up, Mike.
That was for Alex. That was for Alex.
I'm gonna mute you. So let's get to the conversation here, and I definitely want to talk about this. And the first question that I got to ask all of y'all, and I just kind of want to do a roundtable discussion with this, if you will. Aaron Rodgers, I would have thought that by now a decision would have been made whether he was going to remain in Green Bay and play out this season or if he was going to go somewhere else. but it seems like each and every week it's a different scenario. Either he's going or he's staying, or he's going or he's staying. I mean, right now he's hosted Jeopardy, so I'm good there. But Megan, ladies first, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? And more importantly, what is going to be the final decision in your opinion?
Well, I think the final decision is going to lay in, there's going to be a few facts in this. First off, his age and his accolades as where he's been at. Like, he's 37 years old. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a 3-time NFL MVP. He's a 3-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowl, 2-time touchdown leader, and he's not a free agent until 2024. So are they going to be able to pull what they want in return, or are they just going to have to let him go for an astronomical amount of money? I don't see Green Bay allowing that. And I think Aaron wants to retire where he's at. I think he wants to have that same legacy. And also, he's getting married. So I think his focus is going to be something different. And I think he just wants to finish out his career in one place where he's accomplished all this. And I don't think Green Bay is going to let him go.
All right, let me get John Shear in here. John, let me ask you, here is a guy who, first off, sat behind a Hall of Famer in Brett Favre. And when he came in, Green Bay really didn't skip a beat. Mike McCarthy is gone. In comes Matt LaFleur, and in 2 seasons, this team goes 13-3. And our, moments, or let's just say, decision making aside, Green Bay, with all the weapons that they kind of don't have, are still in the best position to potentially not only win the division, but make a run for the Super Bowl. If you're Aaron Rodgers, why are you not embracing this and saying, listen, here is my list of demands. Let's get it done so we can get another ring?
Well, obviously, like Megan pointed out, he's Aaron Rodgers, but he really doesn't have any leverage. He's there till 2024. He's 37. You're not going to get a whole lot back in return for him, because if you try and trade him, you got the contract. And also, like, who's going to trade for a 37-year-old? I know he's Aaron Rodgers, but it's hard to get much compensation out of a 37-year-old in the NFL. And to your point, your first question about, is he going anywhere? No, the team is built for win now. So if you trade him, you're going to have to get draft picks back. You're not going to get a quarterback that starts. You're not going to get Tom Brady or something like that back. So it would be pointless to trade him, because your team's in win now mode. And what are you going to get that's going to help you stay in win now mode if you trade away Aaron Rodgers? You're going to have to rebuild when you have some great pieces on defense. You have Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, guys like that, David Bakhtiari, who's on the back end of his career. So it wouldn't make sense to trade away Rodgers and then get draft picks, and Jordan Love isn't ready. So you're not going to put him in there with this 13-3 type of team and expect them to go and win a Super Bowl. So it doesn't make sense for either side. And Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. He's the heart of Green Bay, and Jordan Love isn't the answer, by the way. So it'll be a couple years before they get a guy to replace Aaron Rodgers, because Jordan Love isn't it.
All right, fair enough. Alex, let me get you in here and get your thoughts on this Green Bay situation, because as a guy who's, watched this team, especially up close and personal, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and what needs to be done?
I don't have a lot of time, because I'm not going to miss Coach Popovich or the blowout that just happened to the Orlando Magic. Y'all are crazy. Yes, they moved on from Brett Favre. They will move on from Aaron Rodgers. You can't find stock in a quarterback that's 37 years old? I believe my team just won the Super Bowl with a 43-year-old quarterback. Warren Moon's best stock was when he was 40 or 41. So I don't know where that came from. There's a reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have a viable backup. Blaine Gabbert is trash, and we got rid of him. And the other guy, Griffin, he ain't ready. He don't want that smoke. I think they're going to go after a third-round quarterback, because we're going after Aaron Rodgers in the 2022 season. After Brady's done, dusting the win, wins his 8th, and cements his legacy, I believe we're going to go for a major push for Aaron Rodgers. We're going to have a lot of money coming off the books, and we'll be available to treat Aaron Rodgers like the man he should be treated. Shout out to Megan Price for mentioning that he's getting married. I can't make any more jokes about Mr. Rodgers anymore. But yes, I believe he's a talented quarterback with the right weapons, can utilize any offense. Green Bay doesn't know what they have until it's gone.
All right, fair enough. Alex, we'll talk to you in a minute. Mike, let me go ahead and get you in here. So give me your thoughts on this, because, again, I'm looking at this entire situation, and John said Jordan Love's not ready. Alex said Jordan Love's not ready. If he's not ready, then why'd you draft him in the first round if you didn't think this man would be able to come in and basically take over?
Well, Aaron Rodgers wasn't ready when he got drafted too. Let's be honest. I mean, I loved him at Cal, but he got drafted by when he got drafted. If he would have got drafted by somebody else, the Niners took him, one different story. But in Green Bay, he wasn't ready to come in. He sat behind Favre. We touched on that. But look, all the guaranteed money is off the contract after this year. So is he easier to trade after this year? Yes. So I'm with John. It's a win now thing. They have a shot to win now. He's not ending up in Tampa. If he goes anywhere, he's going back to California. So that's why with the Niners trading up, to me, that kind of ruins it, because I think he probably wanted to go to the Niners, but I could see him ending up, well, I would say with the Chargers, but they have Justin Herbert, so I doubt that. Then
Pats?
I think he wants to go he wants to go West Coast. So that's why I'm really surprised. I mean, look, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are for the here and now, but you could definitely trade Aaron Rodgers after next season. He'll put up numbers. I mean, I know he lost his center, but I mean, I don't think Jordan Love's ready, but athletically, having watched, I mean, because Jordan Love 2 years before he got drafted, I thought had a better year. Teams adjusted to him. He didn't have the best of offensive lines even for college at the time, but athletically, Jordan Love is right there. I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, Eric, you know that, but I am saying that after next year, Aaron Rodgers is probably gone. And yes, he's engaged. If the engagement actually sticks, because I think him and Olivia Munn were engaged when they were dating like a while back. Him and Danica never got engaged, but Olivia was engaged, and now he's engaged to Shailene Woodley. So if it does actually stick, I will be impressed if Aaron Rodgers, if they get married. But what I'm saying, football-wise, though, I really think he wants to go back to California. But if the Niners take a quarterback, that doesn't happen. But, yeah, I mean, I'm with you, John. I could see the next year the Pats, with all the money they spent this year, made us all fall out of our chairs. Eric, you don't think that the Pats would be like, okay, we'll give you some stuff for Aaron Rodgers? I mean,
I don't doubt that at all. I'm just thinking of, I look at the careers of two of the greats, one in Tom Brady, one in Aaron Rodgers, and I'm saying you're a guy who is probably truly every year the MVP. Why I say that is simply this, because you take a bunch of guys who people may not recognize or may not truly know, and you turn them into a la superstars. Mm-hmm. And so I look at this and I say to myself, if you can go 13-3 with Devontae Adams, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Aaron Jones, and the rest of the crew, can you imagine if he actually had what we would consider to be a true 1B to Devontae Adams, number 1A? Okay. You know what I'm saying?
As long as you say 1A, because Devontae Adams is the man. Like, he's a star.
Your only. But he's your only. That's what I'm saying to you. Right. You have to have some other. You have to have some other pieces.
Does he have a trade? Does he have a trade clause? Like, does he have to approve the trade?
No.
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 Interesting.
No.
So
football
he could
players didn't start doing that because Patrick Mahomes got it, I know, and then Deshaun Watson, obviously, when he signed his last year, he got it, but there were no way because like we said before, they wanted the money, right? So they wanted the money, and that's the thing. Like, they weren't worried about a no trade clause. They want their guaranteed money, and that's why, like I said, I just get back to the point, Megan. You're right. Like, you look at the NBA and all the contracts, and it has to be within a percentage. But Aaron Rodgers to trade next year is a huge, there wouldn't be a cap hit, because if they trade him before the new NFL season in March, then I mean, it's all the guaranteed money's gone. So they're not taking. If I read it right, they wouldn't take a cap hit anyway, because there's no more guaranteed money.
All right, let's move on to the next question that I want to ask y'all. Go ahead, John. I'll give you the last word, and then we'll keep it moving.
I want to touch on Alex's point because there he is. I want to touch on Alex's point so I can drive him into the ground with this. Tom Brady was a free agent when the Bucs signed him. Aaron Rodgers would get traded, which is a lot different. Compensation's a lot different than the Bucs getting Tom Brady for free, because Tom Brady was a free agent. Patriots didn't send anything over and get anything back. There was none of that. The Packers would have to trade something trade Aaron Rodgers, and then get something in return. That's a lot more complicated than just signing a free agent out of nowhere. And 37-year-old compensation is really hard to do. I get he's Aaron Rodgers, but who wants to trade for a 37-year-old player? Give up a first rounder. That's hard to do.
All right, let me go ahead and get the team back in here really quick, so I want to move to my next topic. Apparently, the number one guy who needs to be taken outside of Trevor Lawrence, who is basically going to Jacksonville, is Kyle Pitts. Now, we have seen pretty much the first 3 to 4 teams. I won't say it's definitely going to happen, but there's a 99.99999% chance that Jacksonville, the Jets, San Francisco, and Atlanta all have their people. But when we get to Kyle Pitts, who is obviously a generational talent, if you will, Alex, let me go to you. Give me your thoughts on this gentleman. Where is he going to wind up? You're muted, sir. We can't hear you.
Let me drop some knowledge on y'all. Sunshine, Jacksonville, Zach
We already
Wilson.
said that. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep moving. Let's go. Kyle Pitts. That's who we're talking about. Let's go.
Cincinnati. And let me tell you why. Have you seen the roster? Drew Sample is their tight end. Please, that's pathetic. I have nothing against Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow hooking up, but they have a need at the tight end position. And he's got the best catch radius of anyone I've seen since Megatron. Gee, do I get a friend at wide receiver and miss a need, or do I fill a need and get the best tight end dash prospect in the last decade? Kyle Pitts, Cincinnati, get used to it.
All right, Mike, you're shaking your head. No, go ahead. Give it to me then. Where's he going?
No, because Alex and I were talking last week. If Matt Ryan's staying in Atlanta, you're not getting rid of him. If they don't take Kyle Pitts at 4, Alex and I we're going to go to Joe's house and roast him, Eric, like no other. He will never be able to come on here and say anything good about the Falcons because Alex said I could get in on it. You take Kyle Pitts there. Like all these trade ups with the Cardinals or the Cowboys. If you're Atlanta, you take, like you said, Eric, the generational talent. Waking up early, getting to see this kid's games. I mean, look, he put Kyle Trask in the Heisman kind of talk because of the way he played. Now, I think Trask will be a good quarterback. He might not be a first rounder. I think he'll be good. That being said, Kyle Pitts, like if Atlanta doesn't take him, cool. You're struggling on defense. Try and cover all of us.
Michael, this is the one and only reason I will let Atlanta off the hook because I love talking about them Falcons. They need to protect that garbage quarterback they still have faith in Matt Ryan. If Penei Sewell is selected with Atlanta, I will let them off the hook and say, you know what? Fine. But I'm with you. If they don't get Pitts and they don't get Sewell, Atlanta's going to have a long off season. Bro, they won't hear the end of me. I'm going to be the joker with them. Wait till they get a load of me.
Megan, give me your thoughts on this because, this is a guy who your boy, Jerry Jones, is highly touted on. Your boy as well, Mike. So much so that Jerry, I think, is trying to wheel and deal behind the scenes to get himself up to be able to attain this young man. Megan, talk to me about this.
I really don't think we're going to go for it. Jerry was infatuated with Johnny Manziel in 2014 in the draft, and we ended up taking Zach Martin. So I think Jerry just likes to stay in the news. And if he doesn't draft defense, I'm going to fling myself off the top of the AT&T stadium.
No, Megan, no, don't do that. Megan, don't do that.
But here, I will say this. We're projected to get Patrick Surtain out of Alabama, a cornerback. I think we're going to do that. He has a connection to Trayvon Diggs, is a former teammate. I think that's what we're going to do. I think Jerry just likes to stay in the news. But if we don't do defense, I can't take it.
Megan, real quick, John, before you go, Eric, let me say this. Eric knows I'm 150% with you. It is about defense. But I was talking to Ruth the other day. You let Byron Jones go, who Eric knows I did not want let go last year because he was at safety. He played corner. He did everything they need. As a rookie, he did it. And he kept getting better. He's in Miami. Oh, funny. Miami's secondary looked a lot better last year.
You can have him back.
Okay, really? Because they looked a lot better last year. Anyway, that being said, you let Awuzie go, who is getting better. And I, as a nickel back with that speed. So hear me out. I said this to Ruth. Trade up. Get Kyle Pitts, Give up 45 a game. Listen, give up 45 a game because you're going to score 55 a game. Because who are you going to double team and cover? I know Eric can't stand Amari Cooper, but when healthy, he can't get covered. CeeDee Lamb is going to run through Philly's secondary again. I mean, if they trade up and get him, and then they sign Zach Ertz, I mean, we'll be gold. No, I'm just kidding there. But that being said, if they do trade up and take him, I will be annoyed. But it's just sending the message to the rest of the league. Well, we're going to see what Dan Quinn can do with this defense that wonderful trash Mike Nolan couldn't do anything for. But
wow,
that would be the only scenario.
Name.
I know. Well, he's gone, so I can say his name now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right.
But that being said. But no, Megan, that being said, like, I'm with you. Like, it is frustrating because you spend money on DeMarcus Lawrence. The middle linebacker. Why am I forgetting his name? Not Van Der Esch.
Nobody cares about him.
Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith, thank you. Yes, out of Notre Dame. Yes, everybody cares about him because he rocked you up. But you spend money on that. You renew those guys. The defensive line, yes, you need to get that pressure. So, yes, either Surtain or – I mean, I've been looking at some. I'm not committing to one yet, but there's pass rushers I've been looking at college-wise or tackles that I would love to get. So we'll see what happens. The kid out of Washington I like. But I will say that I'm with you. If it's not defense and you trade up and get Kyle Pitts, you're just saying to everybody else, Dak's healthy. He's got Zeke. He's got Zach Martin back. He's got Tyron Smith back. He's got Lael Collins back. And it's okay. Let's just score points and see what happens.
All right. Okay, fine. John, I'm going to give you the last word. Then we got to go to break real fast. Go ahead, sir. All right. John's got a few.
There we go.
There we go. There he is.
If you're the Cowboys, you jump in front of Detroit and you take Micah Parsons because Detroit's going to take him, and that's what you need. You jump in front of Detroit, steal him from them, go to Miami, trade with us because we're all about trading back. Take the 6th pick, steal him from Detroit. You'll thank me later. Jalen Smith is a bum. He can replace Jalen Smith. There's a piece of tape I want to show you. I'll send it to you, Karen. Okay. I'll send it to you where he goes to the hole. He hits, I believe it's the A gap, and the running back is going the opposite way, and Jalen Smith has no idea. And the guy runs for a long touchdown, and he has no idea he hits the wrong hole. And he's a middle linebacker.
Who was his coach last year? It was Mike Nolan.
Had to hit that hole and stop the runner. And
Mike Nolan brainwashed. Oh, wow. Okay.
Jalen Smith did not play good football last year until the last
Mike Nolan the defense was
the last
terrible.
3 games of the season when it was too late.
John, this is why you are always invited to the cookout, baby. Hey,
okay, 72 Dolphins. 72 Dolphins. Yeah, we know.
More with the crew here live on the Sports Arena. We'll be back in just a moment.
Connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
Welcome back into the Sports Arena. Man, Eric Wilson alongside Believe in the Pac-12, Mr. Michael Caratanudo, our girl Megan Price from the NBA Carousel and the Sip-Off, and my man Sideline Sports Network, Mr. Journey with the Jays, John Shear. So I want to transition from NFL, and I've got to get to the NBA because as this season is starting to wind itself down, this is something that I have to ask the three of you. And John, I want to start with you on this one. We pretty much know that if, in fact, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden are on the court together, they are virtually unstoppable. They're going to put up 160 within the first 3 quarters of the game, and then let the bench just play the fourth quarter. But they haven't been playing consistently together. Sometimes you'll have KD and Harden. Sometimes you'll have Harden and Kyrie. Sometimes you'll have Kyrie and Kate. When are the 3 of these guys going to actually consistently play together, John?
Never. Because you haven't had it all season. And I've talked about this on our show. You can't just flip a switch. The playoffs are about to start. You can't just flip that switch and say, all right, guys, time to gel, time to play together. Like, that just doesn't happen for the NBA playoffs. Like, the first round, they'll roll through it. But the second round, maybe the third round, somebody will get them. Because, in the NBA, you have to have chemistry. You don't have that many guys. And these guys have played, 7 games together, I think. The 3 of them collectively have played, 7 games or a small amount.
Right.
So, and KD, we don't even know about his health. The guy can't exactly stay healthy. Kyrie has personal issues. I mean, he's out again. I think that Schroeder said something to him that really got to him because, then they end up, he was supposed to miss the game because of personal reasons, but unfortunately the game got canceled. So I don't think that they're the best team in the East, even at that. There's a team better than that, but that's another discussion.
Let me go to Megan then and say, Megan, what's your take on this? Because I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, again, this is one of those things where we know what the 3 of these gentlemen are capable of doing, but they haven't been able to do it all together. And I feel like John, I'm worried, but go ahead, Megan.
I'm going to say that I have to issue an official retraction because on this show previously I said that, the East, their playoff completely and totally depends on KD. And I have to say that for the Nets right now, it's looking like their playoff run depends completely on James Harden. They look lost without James Harden. I have to take it back. I mean, KD in the game on Saturday, he had 22 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. So not a bad night, but you have Harden who consistently is dropping 30 plus points on people left and right. And then also I want to go ahead and say that we do know what KD is going to do during the season. He gets injured. He has a history of staying injured. I love KD. I do think he's a top 3 player in the league when healthy. But honestly, besides his MVP season, Westbrook got them OKC to the playoffs consistently. And then KD came in during the playoffs and shined during the playoffs. But you're not going to be able to turn that switch on with 3 superstars that are used to running the team, except for Kyrie, who was willing to give up that role to James Harden because James Harden was better at it.
All right, fair enough. Let me go ahead and get Alex and Mike in here. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you guys, Alex is resetting himself, so go ahead. I'm going to give you the floor, sir.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, with James Harden, I mean, Kyrie not really giving it up because Kyrie's not a true point guard. If anything, I mean, even, to name drop, but, even back in his days here at ASU, you could tell, I mean, you're playing Harden as a 2 guard because you want him to get that shot, but at the same time, he can be the point guard. So, yeah, it is on Harden because he proved he doesn't need to shoot and take all those shots. I mean, in Houston, he was. But that's why I'm surprised it didn't work out. Obviously, Chris Paul got hurt, or they're probably in the NBA Finals when Chris Paul's there. But that being said, even with Westbrook, the way Westbrook could get into the lane and dish out to Harden. So for the Nets, though, I'm with Megan on that, Alex, because in the Eastern Conference, it is about Harden playing. So sit him down. It's a hamstring. KD will get his, and yes, if Kyrie is mentally there, then it is very tough because Kyrie, I mean, again, his handle, I'm all for it. But Harden as the point guard, it's just a nightmare because, I mean, you and I have talked about it, that step back, but just his feel for the game and actually having guys that can hit shots too. I mean, you go to KD, okay, you're going to try to double off or sag off KD. Good luck with that. Kyrie will slash through the lane. They're hitting 3. So, again, they have to make some stops, but if Harden's running the show and they're healthy, it's going to be tough for Philly. It's going to be tough. Or Milwaukee.
Real talk. It's regular season. We got 5 weeks left in the NBA season.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. No. I'm not going to let you just keep talking about and glossing over facts. Fact number 1, These three guys came together to try and win a championship, and we haven't seen that happen, okay? So don't give me this whole regular season load management time off crap. I don't want to hear it. The fact of the matter is this. The fact of the matter is this. If you come together to win a title, then play together and win a damn title. I'm sick of all the excuses that we're giving these gentlemen as to why this isn't happening or that's not happening. You have three of the most talented people in the NBA right now on the same squad.
If I can have a minute. If I can have a minute.
We need
if I
more
can have
consistency.
1 minute.
I'm going to give you the minute.
1 minute.
But I'm not going to let you just gloss over and give them excuses. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Without being interrupted, LeBron James isn't playing right now. Anthony Davis isn't playing right now. And you don't think that's some type of load management? Kawhi Leonard, when he was with the Raptors, took a couple of games off. That was load management. Guys, it's regular season. They're the number 3 seed. You saw what happened when Harden was running the point, and that was without KD. Now you see how the offense is running through KD without Harden. All of this soap opera soap, just stop. We know it's going to be the Nets and the Lakers in the finals. All they have to do is stay healthy. If Harden, Irving, and Durant are on the floor at the same time, there's not a team in the Eastern Conference that can hang with them.
John, please. You know what, John? I'm gonna let you because I just
got this disrespect again. Michael Caratanuto did not mention the Miami Heat in the East.
Oh,
you guys keep
stop?
over the
Will you
Miami
stop?
Heat. The
They're
best
not gonna
team,
be
the
the
hardworking
They're
team,
not gonna
the
be
most
good.
hardworking team. Jimmy
They're
Butler
not gonna
doesn't
be
take a night
Brooklyn.
off. You talked about LeBron James takes a night off. Kawhi Leonard takes a night off. James Harden takes a night off. Oh, Jimmy Butler doesn't take a night off because Jimmy Butler's a real player. He doesn't take a night off. He doesn't take a playoff. The best team, the most hardworking team, best player in the NBA. He doesn't take a night off. Jimmy Butler's the best. Just get out of here.
James
Best team.
Harden has a hamstring injury. It's not load management. He tried to play on it the other night. If you've ever tried to play anything with the hamstring, you can talk about LeBron and KD and Kawhi. I'll give you that. Do not talk about James Harden because when he was in Houston, Megan can back this up.
When he was in Houston, he looked like a beach ball.
Homeboy played every year, and he still played every game. Really? A beach ball that could score on everybody. A beach ball that destroyed everybody on the perimeter, right?
He shed that weight in like 2 days.
Yeah, and
John,
exactly. You're talking this year. James Harden played every game.
All right, Mike, let Megan get in there. Go ahead, Megan.
Go ahead, Megan.
John, who's number 4 in the East, though?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Y'all not at number 4 right now. Now, don't get me wrong.
All year.
Jimmy Butler is that dude. He is that dude. But Oladipo is hurt. He's done for the season. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. Jimmy Butler has that heart. But who's number 4? Who's that team that's right under the big three? The big 3. Atlanta.
Right. Oh, Miami dealt with COVID all year. Remember the COVID all year.
I understand that. But Atlanta was injured all season, too.
Okay.
Would you take Atlanta or Miami?
To be fair, the one time that the Nets did play Miami and they had their people, it was ugly.
All right. Last topic of the night, because as you know, I am a huge proponent on speaking of empowering women, such as our girl, Miss Megan Price, for the NBA Carousel on the Sip Off. Megan, I need you to promote your show real quick so everybody know where they can come find you.
Absolutely. You can come find me Saturday nights on Facebook. It's at 7 Eastern or 8 Eastern, excuse me. Every Saturday night, me and 2 of my best friends, we have drinks, we talk ball. We have a couple more of our friends on there, but we have the WNBA draft coming on Thursday. And I just want to show my notes like Alex did, my mock draft as well. So I've been preparing for this.
People yet. We're going to get to it in a minute. I want you to promote you for a minute.
Oh, okay. I get excited about the WNBA. This week we're going to be covering Alicia Gray as our WNBA Player of the Week, who is also a Dallas Wings player. This is going to be the year for Dallas in the draft. So I just wanted to highlight somebody who's already on the squad.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I love the way Megan tees it up for me so I can knock it out the park here. Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, last year I was blessed to cover the WNBA. And again, a big thank you to the entire organization. This year is going to be something to behold, especially with the fact that Diamond DeShield is going to be at 100%. Azure Stevens is coming back fully healthy. Gabby Williams hasn't taken a day off, I don't think. I mean, she's over in France still playing probably and getting herself ready to come back. And then you add Candace Parker to the Vanderquigs. Oh, and don't forget my girl, the 1 to the 2 KFC, Khalil freaking Copper. Shout out to the Philly girl from Rutgers. I mean, let me just tell y'all, if there is going to be a team to contend with this year, after what I saw last year, it's definitely the Chicago Sky. But Megan, since you brought them up, since you are the Dallas girl, how in the world? I mean, what are y'all going to do with the first 4 out of 7 picks that y'all have? I mean, you got the first, the second, the fourth, I mean, the fifth, the seventh. It's like, well damn. What else does Dallas need to do this year?
We also have the first round or the first pick of the second round also. So, I mean, we just stacked. Obviously, we made some moves kind of like, I don't know if you guys know this, but OKC in the NBA, they have 17 first-round picks over the next 7 years, and they have 17 second-round picks over the next 7 years. And so, I think Greg just did some wheeling and dealing and ended up just it's the year for Dallas. So, I really think, number one, we take Charlie Collier from UT. Number 2 is questionable. The young lady from Finland is likely, but I've also seen her fall to number 6 in a couple of different mock drafts. But I think she could possibly go number 2. Her name's Awak Kuyer. She's from Finland. She's a center. Number 5 pick. I got the girl from Rutgers, Ariel.
No, you can't have her. Rutgers is coming to Philly. I mean, coming to Chicago. No, you can't have her. Oh.
She's really, really good. A lot of people aren't talking about her because, Rutgers didn't have a deep playoff run in the tournament, but she's really, really good. She has the Euro step down cold. So she's definitely going to be somebody to watch. If she doesn't come to Dallas, I expect her in Atlanta.
She's going to be, I'm telling you right now, she's probably going to go to Atlanta at 3, and I don't want her to go to Atlanta at 3, but if she falls, I just need y'all to just gloss over her when you get to 7 and just be like, oh, wait, no, we could let her come because she is the one that I really want James to pick up to complement Courtney Vandersloot. If not her, then I do want Ari McDonald from Arizona, or I also want who was the other girl? Hold on a second.
Jasmine.
Oh, Chelsea? No.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea Dungy from Arkansas.
Right.
That's who I want Chicago to pick. So, Mike, John, let me kick it over to you guys. Give me your thoughts on the WNBA draft and what you think is possibly going to happen.
Well, you mentioned Ari McDonald. I mean, although she is a Wildcat, getting to see her play the last few years, I mean, she might not have the height, but these girls that are taller can't guard her. I mean, and it's sick. I mean, the way she goes to her left, I mean, it was so awesome having an all Pac-12 women's championship. And the best part is Stanford won. So I was happy, and then I was really happy, Eric, because Arizona just can't win. But anyway, no, that being said, all kidding aside, that being said, like the way she plays, I mean, at that height, I mean, she'll attack the basket. And I mean, you saw it in the Pac-12 all year long. I mean, Oregon State's got some beasts just down in the post. I mean, they have that height, they have that length. I mean, Stanford did too. You have 6'4", 6'5". Oregon State has a girl, I think she's like 6'7", and McDonald has no problem going to her left, going at those players, getting open players for her shots. So I think she's kind of the wild card. I mean, everybody knew she could play. It's just, again, at 5'6", you see it like, oh, she'll be gobbled up. Well, I don't know too many people that can stay with her. If you're bigger than her, you're not staying with her because she's crossed so many people over. So, I mean, I did see the one mock draft when we talked about this, that her going 4 to Indiana, Eric. So that's even before obviously your Chicago team picks. But, I mean, she really helped her stock. So I could see her. I mean, Indiana, I think it would really help Chicago, though. I mean, obviously paying as much attention to me as I did in the bubble last year because of you, and Phoenix too. But I mean, she would really, it would be very complimentary for her to play in Chicago. That would be a phenomenal pick for you guys.
Oh yeah. And plus what that does is that gives Sloot the ability to, get a couple extra minutes. But, as the head of the snake, girlfriend's going to play her heart out. She does not care. I mean, this is what she does. She loves it. And again, having the conversations that I had with her last season, and I'm looking forward to talking to her and Allie again this year. You can just tell. I mean, she's a pure athlete. her vision on the court is something to behold. And watching these women play, there's a continuity there that I think teams really need to start embracing. John, I'm gonna let you get in on this, sir. I know we've been kind of, my apologies. It's just I talk WNBA, I could go all night. Let me just be real with you. So
Yeah, so I was just my little tidbit. I was thinking about this. It's great how the WNBA is getting more coverage because when I was growing up, there was no coverage. It was like the back end of ESPN, like as far as they could push it down is how it got pushed down. The WNBA when I was growing up, but now it's kind of like it's starting to get attention. Kind of like the NCAA women's tournament got attention, but for the wrong reasons with the weight room stuff. But I think it's great that, this is getting attention as it should. I mean, professional athletes should get their attention, regardless if you're a man or a woman or whatever, you should get your attention. So I think the women are finally getting their just due. I just wish that the women in college basketball would get their just due and the NCAA would take care of them. Because that's the biggest thing to me is that, these players, the women get treated like the men do. It's not, that's just how I feel. I think they should be treated equal. They should get the same coverage on ESPN, things like that. So.
I completely agree with you. And it's very much
Eric, can I ask you a quick question? Because I didn't see, how did they get loaded with all these picks? I know trade deadline stuff because we were talking about Phoenix in the trade deadline last year. How the heck does Dallas get all these picks like this?
So they got the number 1 pick from the New York Liberty. They already had the number 2 pick. They acquired the number 5 pick from the Washington Mystics, and they actually got the number 7 from the Chicago Sky. And then Chicago actually got the number 8 pick from your Phoenix Mercury. So there has just been a true mix. But for Dallas to have 4 of
did they get rid of their whole team? Did they get rid of their whole team and just draft
It's not a whole lot of roster space, actually. So I expect that 7th pick, and then they turn around and they have the 1st pick in the 2nd round. They might get traded, or they might do something before the draft, before Thursday. Not really sure how that's going to go, but they don't have the roster space for that. Now they do have probably 3 open spots, and so I expect their first 3 picks for them to draft. Realistically, but as far as after that, I think they trade them off.
And again, this is about bringing these women in. They're going to go through a training camp. They're going to go through, the basic off season, if you will, and see who's going to stay the course. And at the end of the day, those who make it will be one of 144 women. And I mean, it's crazy to think this is the 25th season of the WNBA. And I actually owe the WNBA an apology for the last 23 years because, to John's point, I did not give it much attention, and I should have. As a media outlet, as a journalist, I should have spent more time really embracing this because I'm hooked. It doesn't matter if I don't cover sports ever. I am hooked as a WNBA fan. I'm waiting for them to drop my jersey so I can go get me some because, trust me, I will be wearing some Chicago. Them new jerseys, new jerseys are on point. And I look good in orange, so I'm gonna have me an orange hoodie.
Orange is the best color in the world. You better send me one.
Orange and green. Send me one.
Not orange and green, John. Yeah. So that is going to do it for us here on the Sports Arena tonight. Megan and John, I want to let y'all know that every once in a while we do a segment, if you will, that we call the smoking section. And it gives us the opportunity to vent for about a minute and a half. You pretty much can say whatever you want. Standard rules apply. No F-bombs and no name calling, of course. But if you have something that you need to get off your chest, we give you that opportunity here. So if you would like to stay and be a part of the smoking section, I will give you the floor and you will have time to say whatever you'd like to say. I do have to put the disclaimer out so everybody knows that this is sensitive material. So if you both are in, I'll go ahead and do the disclaimer, and then, I'll introduce everybody again and we'll go into it.
Absolutely.
All right. Give me one moment. And Here we go.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
I got something real heavy to lay on you, man.
Now that's what I need.
Please feel free to join us in the smoking section because we with all the smoke.
For God's sake, strap yourselves down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the smoking section. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. I do have three of my co-hosts here tonight. This is where we get an opportunity to air out our grievances on how we feel about certain situations going on, whether it be in the sports world or not in the sports world. I am actually going to start with my brother, Michael Carrot-Tenuto. Everybody knows how this goes down. This is not for the weak of heart. And if you are overly sensitive to honest feedback and opinions of other people, this is not the place for you to be. Mike, I'm going to let you go first, my brother.
Well, thank you, Eric. Yes, it's not the place to be. Look, there's a lot going on in the world, and especially here in this country, and whether people feel divided or not, Eric, I think Rob said it best when you first had him on. I mean, literally, like, people are meant just to love each other. So everything that's going down, here's one thing I want to challenge people, because Eric's known this about me for years. I don't believe that any athlete or any athlete, whatever, when people are like, oh, we need sports to get away, these athletes need to get away too from things to deal with stuff. I will say this. We need to get rid of the people politicizing what athletes do when they just want time to themselves. We need to get rid of political parties. That's a whole different discussion. That's what I'm going to say. Eric knows that. There's no need for political parties. If you want to serve your country and be part of the country and do things good for all people, then you don't need a party affiliation. But this whole thing of athletes, I know it started a few years ago, shut up and dribble or just play sports. They're human beings, the last I checked. Nobody's a robot. So for all the people out there, whether you think it's privilege or it is your escape and saying, oh, they're taking away my escape by postponing games, get off your high horse. A lot of wrong things are done on both sides. Forget your whole party affiliation thing and just think of people as people. Love one another. And if you can't, we learned this when we were 5, and some people are too, I really don't like saying this, but dumb to remember. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Go be miserable by yourself. When you want to come to the table and talk like an adult and civil and calm and can respect people's opinions and share yours, then do it. But stop telling athletes they need to play games or taking away your escape, because when stuff happens with them, their families, do you care personally, or are you just more upset that they're not playing a damn game? So that is all I have for this. But just like John said, man, love people. Like we were meant to get along. If you can't talk about things as an adult civilly, if Eric's got a problem with me or I have a problem with him, we can sit down like adults and talk. If either one of us, anybody does something stupid, just sit down and talk. But quit making political statements about everything. That's the problem. There's no need to drive a divide. Get along. It's simple. We learned it when we were 5, but yet it all gets fuzzy and gray, and people don't want to step up and be responsible for their actions, Eric. But I'm going to stop because I'm going to get really mad if I keep going.
I understand, Mike. I appreciate it. Let me go to my girl, Miss Megan Price.
I'm going to keep mine in the women's world and just say that, whenever I hear critics of women's sports, unless you're talking solutions, you really don't have to say anything at all. By speaking negatively, you're not doing anything to fix anything. And literally, like, if you will go to ESPNW and go to any post, go to the comments section and look at what people say, it will disgust you. Like, there's literally, if you don't like women's sports, why are you following ESPNW? Like, you don't have to speak negatively about it. You can just keep those comments to yourself. And then my second point is, if you're going to speak negatively about women's sports or their protests about equal pay, know all the facts, and especially when it comes to equal pay. They're not saying that they deserve the exact same amount that the NBA players make. They said that they deserve the same percentages as what the male NBA players have. So know all the facts. They're not saying, oh, just pay them millions of dollars that the league isn't making. They just want to be paid the same percentage, given the same opportunities, the same marketing opportunities, and just the same chance to be as good as the male industry. So, but if you can't say anything nice about it, just let those of us that enjoy women's sports, let us enjoy it.
I appreciate you, Megan. Thank you so much. Let me go and get my man, Mr. John Shearer, in here. John, floor is yours, brother.
I have a couple things. First of all, let me touch on the women thing. Let's stop doing this where, if a woman has open DMs, people sliding in, sending them pics and things like that. Let's stop that. Let's just cut that out completely, because that doesn't need to happen ever. There's so many, no woman ever needs to have that happen, ever. Doesn't need to happen, first of all. Second of all, there's a lot of great women out there in fantasy sports, in that cover the fantasy football and that industry and many other things. They do a great job. And just because they post a picture of themselves doesn't mean that, you should call them vain or whatever. They might just like posting a picture of themselves. So let me just put that out there, because there's a lot of great women, not only in sports, but in the world. So you need to stop knocking them. Second of all, maybe we should think about like taking social media as a whole just down. I know it sounds crazy because Facebook and everything, there's a lot of money tied to it, but maybe we need to like think about how social media is done, so that way there's not as many opportunities to comment like people do, like where people say negative and hurtful things and they tell people like the bad things that they do. Maybe we need to think about how social media is done and revisit that as a whole, as a society. That way there's not as many people that that are killing themselves because people are cyberbullying them. So maybe we need to think about that. And then back to sports, something that's really weighed on me is, let's get rid of these super teams, okay? What happened to the days, the 80s and 90s, where players wanted to kick each other's butt? Michael Jordan wanted to beat you. Michael Jordan didn't want to team up with you. He wanted to beat you. What I hear somebody back there. The Bucks in the NFL are becoming the super team. Everybody wants to go there. Why don't you want to beat the Bucks? Where's your competitive spirit? Like in the NBA, why does everybody have to be a super team? Why can't you just go and want to beat that guy? Why can't you want to go and beat LeBron James instead of teaming up with LeBron or teaming up with Kyrie or KD or whatever? Like, we need competition and rivalries back in sports where you hate each other on the court. You don't have to off the court, but on the court, you hate each other instead of being all buddy-buddy. Get rid of the jersey swap. I don't want your jersey on my wall. Why would I want your jersey on my wall? I hate you as a player. Why would I want your jersey hanging up on my wall? Unless it's my trophy for beating your ass. That's the only way I would have your jersey up on my wall. So that way, if you come over to my house, I can show you that I beat your ass. That's the only way that I would have your jersey up on my wall. So let's normalize hating each other in sports and rivalries instead of just buddy-buddy. Let's get rid of this buddy-buddy stuff.
I appreciate you, John. Thank you, sir. Mr. Fleming, I know you're traveling, sir. I always want you to be careful. If you can hear me and you have something that you need to say. All right, then.
Oh, I do.
All right, well, then I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
I'm sick and tired of people making excuses when cops are held to a lower standard than our athletes. Since when do tasers weigh the same as guns? Since when does having an NRA certificate and badge, trophy, whatever you want to call it, is a death sentence when a cop gets irritated or scared? Since when is complying and getting put in handcuffs mean that you're going to be safe? That didn't go so well with George Floyd, now did it? He was in handcuffs, he was sustained, and he got a knee to his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. You would think a city like Minnesota would have got enough recognition already for ignorance and brutality when it comes to people of color, but I guess not. This needs to stop, and I think the government needs to get involved. And I hate government involvement. That's the Republican in me speaking, and I hate the government being involved. But this is ridiculous. We're living in 2021, and we're still getting blips and little connotations of segregation, Brown versus Board, 60s and 70s. And me, as a black man, I'm tired of it. I swear to God and everything that is holy, if I get stopped by a cop and there's hesitation, you're probably going to have to shoot me because I'm registered, I have a license, I have insurance, and I didn't do anything wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as the sports, Minnesota, stand up. Enough is enough. You know what? If you want to protect your own, why the hell should we entertain you? Because that's all we are to you, entertainment.
Thank you, Alex. I started this show tonight recognizing the two black men who were, in fact, basically stripped down of human decency, if you will. Again, to Second Lieutenant Karan Nazario and to Dante Wright. You should not have to go through what you went through for being a black man. I asked this question almost a year ago, and it's one question that still has not left to be answered. I'm still waiting, by the way. When is being a black man? Why is being a black man in America wrong? Because we've seen it. We've had it in our face. We've dealt with it behind closed doors, and now the world is dealing with it, but yet nothing has changed. To Mike's point, if you ain't got nothing good to say about someone, shut the hell up. We all got problems. We all got things that we're going through, and we deal with them in our own specific way. But just like Alex, if I know I've done everything right, and I know that I'm not causing anybody any physical, emotional, or mental harm, why does my skin color make you fear me? Why does the way I dress, the way I talk, why does that make you want to come after me? And this is the one that still blows my mind. If I am willing to die for this country, and you clearly can see that based on the attire that I have on, and I don't argue, I follow your rules, I respect law enforcement, why am I not given the same in return? This shit has got to stop. And someone who does not look like me, who does not sound like me, but who understands me, needs to speak up. There needs to be more accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the smoking section for tonight. I appreciate all of you who stayed with us throughout the entire evening. We'll see you guys on Thursday for the WNBA draft.